Let's see if this fixed the issue. Maybe. Hey, magic. All right. I'll take it. Let's dial in this camera a little bit here. Let's see. What the heck is the app? Just fixing some junk real quick. I still haven't gotten used to how the new layout is in Windows. It drives me nuts. There we go. Got my mic in the way slightly. All right. Everyone should still be able to hear me. Cool. All right. I think we are good to go now. Cool. All right. Let's hack some stuff. All right. Tired of screwing around with stuff. Let's do something fun. People chat. That's what we want. Great. And technology. I need to get used to this crap. All right, cool. Back to something I do know. So, yeah, let's play with some stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And you can stop looking at my face. So I have Kali Linux up and running here. And we'll work out of this just because I like to keep stuff isolated. And yeah, we'll find something to do. It looks like they made some changes since I've been on here. There's a cool CTF going on, which is cool. CTF's always fun if you don't do any of those. Let's see, join workspaces. Let's move my mic closer together, or closer to me. Join workspaces to collaborate, hack with your team, and access. Oh, you can hack collaboratively now. Oh, maybe we'll do that. Got some new rooms. Windows logging for SOC. That's cool. Capture Apocalypse. I bet that might be fun. You know, one of the things I haven't done much of is industrial control systems. I've done some, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm a specialist in that at all. It just happens to be there when I'm hacking. So maybe that could be something fun to play with. Cyber kill chain, that doesn't sound very fun. Round cube, I haven't heard of that one. I don't want to do any memory stuff. That annoys me. Cool. All right, let's see. Over 400 challenges ready for you to take on and earn badges. See what's in here. Raw. That's an old one. Pyrat. Wonder if they have them done based off of. Oh, they do. By color. What kind of purple stuff do they have? AWS. Oh, that's cool. Hacker v Hacker. The Advent. All right. Usually something might stand out to me and it'll be, oh, like that's fun. Reversing an elf. Ninja skills. Practice your Linux skills and complete this challenge. Get happens. I will tell you, get stuff is pretty interesting if you've never done that. Because what's funny is that one of the one of the problems out there with Git repos, especially those that are public, if you say accidentally committed some sort of secrets to the repo and then you didn't scrub them out of there deliberately, like say you just overwrote the file and you didn't scrub the commit history, they're still in there. And so that's one of the cool things you can do with Git. You pull down the entire commit history, the entire repo, and then you can find potential secrets. So that's always a problem. JP chat. That might be fun. That is one Michelle might be interested in. See if there's anything else in here. We might go back and just try to knock out some of these challenges just for fun. So we already looked at all that. My skills is in red teaming apparently. A little bit of pen testing. That makes me sad. I like to think of myself as pretty well-rounded. All right. Is there anything else new in here? I think these are all the other alerts, or not the alerts, the certifications we spoke about a long, long time ago. Some competitions, some swag. Okay, let's do some challenges. Screw it. See, test your enumeration skills on this boot to root system. 60 minutes. Let's do it. We're going to just systematically go through these. What is a user flag? What is a root flag? Let's see. Pyrat receives a curious response from an HTTP server, which leads to a potential Python code execution vulnerability. Okay. With cleverly crafted payload, it is possible to gain a shell on this machine. Delving into the directories, the author uncovers a well-known folder that provides a user with access to credentials. A subsequent exploration yields valuable insights into the application's older version. Exploring possible endpoints using a custom script, the user can discover a special endpoint and ingeniously expand their exploration by fuzzing passwords. The script unveils a password, ultimately granting root. Okay. So we join room, start the machine. We'll let that start up. It's been a while since I played with Linux. So this seems like almost like an exploit dev quasi or password hacking one, or password cracking, not hacking. Expires in 2 hours. Let's do an attack box. This is should be fun. I think next week, if I can get my buddy on, we'll be streaming a PC build. So I'm gonna build something specifically for streaming in the podcast studio itself, and I should be starting to do another podcast soon as well. While we wait on C-Suite Cyber to get back up and running. So it'll be fun. But yeah, we're putting one of my buddies who is, I say he's the second best hardware guy I know, um, because Mauro Jade's probably the best hardware person I know by a long shot. But he's pretty good. He has a lot of really cool insights. He helped me pick out parts for building, and it has been probably over a decade since I built a PC. I got started building PCs and working in a help desk in high school. So it's been a while. And this thing takes forever. I need to start just doing the VPN piece. I might do that after this one. We can set up the VPN. There's something about this I forgot that I hate, and I don't remember what it is. Oh, one that's Parrot. That's probably one. Let's see. Will behave. Scrubs the system. Stuff is in the usual positions. Never used Star Killer, and I don't know if Empire is the same as PowerShell Empire. Who knows? Okay, let's hack something. So I guess we get started with a terminal. And I don't know if it'll let us copy and paste stuff. Well, let's think. Oh, I think we had an issue with it being slow last time. It's pretty slow. Oh, and I can't paste, copy and paste. Oh my god, it's gonna drive me up a wall. I hate when that happens with VMware. All right, so we got a nice ping. Let's start a notepad in here. Subline, that'll work. Because that way I can at least copy and paste some stuff. I'm not doing any updates. I don't give a shit. This isn't prod. We don't care. And they're going to wipe it. All right, so there's our IP. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, we're going VPN style. I can't deal with that. Just have to remember how to do it. Well, they're not. There's duplicate tab. Thought it was under here. Yeah, access. That's what we wanted. So on, we want to download our configuration file. No, I don't want EU. What the heck? US. So typically, if you don't know, you want to do the VPN that's um, the server that's closer to you. It just speeds things up, lower latency. Um, we'll try it one more time. What is going on? There we go. All right, so we should just be able to say Um, just go to downloads and use it. Oh my gosh, who are you? I feel like you know me if you're saying that. Trolling me. What's up? She? So we need to make our way to downloads and open the VPN. And we'll do Shift Tab. And let's try pinging this sucker just to make sure we have access. So that's, I'll tell you, that is a rookie mistake I made when I was doing the OCP, where I just start getting going with it, with getting too excited and not actually checking I have access. And then I'm sitting there troubleshooting my code or exploit or whatever I'm doing, and it's not even working because I lost connection. And you'll see that too. The VPN sometimes will just randomly drop, and it's such a pain. The first thing to check is always right. Work your way up the OSI model. Legitimately true. Let's see. All right, so let's read this again. So from an HTTP server, so we could probably hop and see what's going on with it. Here, let's see if we can talk to it. So this is HTTPS. We don't want that. It's unable to connect. So automatically forwarded to that? That's annoying. It is. That's very weird. Is this like a new thing in Firefox now where it does that? Will it still do it if I force it on the port 80? I wonder. Yeah, interesting. Well, I guess we can try the good old nmap port 80. Now let's do version enumeration, see what's going on with it. And we could do a netcat to it, but let's just do this first. Ah, look at that. We got error. Your port specifications are illegal. Example port are. Oh, I didn't give it a port. Stupid. All right, it's closed. Interesting. So let's do just a broad scan, and we can chat. What's up, chat? How's your day going? Let's see where you're joining us from. While it does its thing. So I'm just going through all of my friggin' tabs. Always got a ton of tabs open. So we can look, see if where you're coming in from. See, are you on Twitch? Yep. Welcome onto Twitch. Should have some other people joining us. So IMAP's pretty standard. I don't know if anyone's used it. This will be going live as well. So I'll be trying to explain stuff. So when it goes up on YouTube, it'll have some information. It's great. Yeah, glad your day's going great. The week's almost over. Congrats. We're past hump day, almost to Friday. Is there anything you want to go over today? Happy to mix it in as we go through this. I'm just doing some try hack me challenges. just for fun, but we can do whatever. We had one request to do some AI type stuff, but yeah, we can do whatever. This is probably so freaking slow because of the VPN. Let's modify this a little bit more. So we'll do that. We'll also do T5. Hopefully throughput won't kill the VPN. That's the thing I hate about Try Hack Me back when I was doing it quite a bit before, was that sometimes the scanning of these systems was um, pretty slow. So it didn't say 80, it just says the HTTP server. Why does this allow us to click it? Oh, it actually explains stuff to us. That's cool. That's new. Let's see. See if there's any other details. So essentially, we're looking for some type of HTTPS port. So it's obviously not on port 80. I'm curious now if it's on any of these other ports, like 8080. Web app exploited. Okay. I think we might be doing that. This one, like just from the description, it looked like it was there's like these different endpoints on the web server, and we're trying to guess a password to get in, and then potentially escalating privileges on it. And also, if you have Try Hack Me, feel free to follow along. If you want to hop on and do some live stuff too, happy to send you information to hop on to the um, into the bat channel where we're doing this. Because part of what I want to do with this streaming is to give other people a chance to hop on and actually do it for themselves, and we can walk them through it, talk through it, work together on it. Because I really want to do this where it is a welcoming learning environment. And a lot of times, the best way to do is actually yourself. Get in there and learn and do things yourself. Get messy. Do the whole Magic School Bus thing. So let me know. 50%. Come on. So if you don't know, like we're just scanning the top. I think it's 100 ports or something like that. And it really shouldn't be this slow, especially on T5. Um, but it's pretty slow. You know what? Again, change this even more. Let's just take the version enumeration, although it shouldn't with the PN. There we go. Okay, perfect. So that worked. I was having issues with the version enumeration. So we got SSH. We have HTTP alt, so 8000. Yep, that is an alternate port. Let's hop in there and see if it does anything in here. It might just be we have to communicate with it via the command line. Yep. All right, so there we go. So we have the web application, obviously, because it is talking to us here, but it's telling us to go through the command line. And this was telling us we had to do some fuzzing, diving into directories, do some fuzzing, potentially some password guessing. Let's see. Let's look through this so we're not trying overly hard for something so simple. So Python code execution. So an RCE with a cleverly crafted payload, it's possible to gain a shell on the machine. Once we do that, then we can look through the directories and look for a well-known folder that provides a user with access to credentials. Interesting. Okay. A subsequent exploration yields valuable insight into the application's older version. exploring possible endpoints using a custom script, the user can discover a special endpoint and ingeniously expand their exploration by fuzzing passwords. The script unveils a password, ultimately gaining access to root. Okay, so we just need an initial payload to get a shell. And then we'll go through enumeration, like post-exploitation enumeration steps after that. With that, we'll keep this up. We'll do a Command-Shift-Tab. That opens up a new tab in case you don't know. These shortcuts are amazing, especially when you're trying to move quickly. In a real pen test, things move super fast. So that's cool. So we have a couple of options. So it's saying do a more basic connection. So we have a few options. We have netcat we can do. We might be able to do telnet, various different things. And we may even end up utilizing a programmatic language to communicate with it as well, because it was talking about building a payload. So we'll see. A lot of times too, when you're exploring, you'll start basic and then increase how complex you get as you need to. You don't really want to start out crazy complex because you may waste your time. The answer may be easier, and this is supposed to be an easy one. So yeah, we don't probably want to waste our time too much. So we'll do this. We'll drop in the IP address. We'll try to connect. So we are connected. You won't always get feedback here. I think we're connected. But if we type in something, we'll get an answer. So this is where you can do some fuzzing and figure out things. Looks like we have some interesting errors. So when you're doing exploitation, since you were talking about web app exploit, when we're doing exploitation, we want to look for it interpreting special characters or commands in a unique way. And so we have one of those here with this last line, invalid syntax, string, line 1. So we're having the underlying code is having issues with what we say or with what we're typing in, which means we may, if we're careful, we may be able to abuse it. So let's keep playing. So help doesn't do anything. Let's see if slash does anything. So slash, we get an error there. And there's certain characters that we know are special, like a slash, a $sign, maybe angled brackets like that, or semicolons. So it could be something like hi colon ls. Hi, name hi, not defined. So it's interesting, right? So it read that, but it didn't read everything after. So that's curious. So let's think about this. So invalid syntax. So it's looking for a string. It's saying that the special characters are not strings. So let's see, with a Python code. So let's actually also do a service enumeration again, but we'll hone in on only on port 8000, which it should be able to handle. And see if that gives us information. It's telling us Pyrat, so I don't know if this is the name of application. I'm thinking of Pyrat, which is like it's a specific library. So, So let's see. While that's running, I don't know why this thing's so slow. Insane. Is it SN? Yeah, I think SN is what I wanted maybe. Just trying to go for no ping. But let's see, nmap / help. Or nmap. Here we go. No ping. I think it's getting held up with the ping. Yeah, that's why. No, that's ping only. So I was doing it right. Dash pn. You want to treat everything as online. So I'm not sure why it's slowing down. Interesting. All right. Hmm. Let's think. Sometimes with Python, you can force it to interpret stuff. But we also want to do some enumeration. What's some Python commands? Cat is one of them. Print. Hi. Look at that. So that's interesting, right? So if you're familiar with Python, this is the format for print statement. And what we see below it is the answer. So essentially, we're able to execute commands here, which is curious. So essentially, with the ability to execute Python here, and I've never done this one before. So if I'm fumbling over stuff, cool, like this is real. So this is me problem solving live. So maybe it'll give you some interesting insights. Um, but to go back to this, if we have the ability to execute Python, we can pretty much execute anything we want that you could execute with Python. So basically, our options are unlimited here. And now we just have to think about how we want to craft an RCE payload. And that's pretty easy, right? And we could almost hop into ChatGPT and ask it, probably. So we can do, create a Python shell, reverse shell. We might try a few different things with this because it may be an interesting case where it can kind of show multiple methods to get a foothold. We could say something like execute system commands Python because that's what we want to do, right? And os.system. So we do know from the output that it is a Linux system. It said it somewhere that it was Linux. I don't remember where it was at. It said it somewhere. We know it's Linux just from the thing, but we could also enumerate that just with this because we have RCE with this. So let me put this here so we can see beside what we need to run. So s.system. I have no idea what that means in chat. So we could do something as simple as who am I, potentially. So maybe we have to put in quotes. Oops. So we may have to figure out a way to redirect the output because it may be blind, where it is running it, but we're not returning the results. So we need to execute it and then somehow get the output to us, or we just create like a reverse shell off the rip. So we can try that first, to reverse shell. And we may break something doing this. Might have to, we may have to restart it if we break something, which is fine. So we can say nc. So what I'm going to do is create a listener with netcat, and then with the Python terminal, we'll connect to this so that we can start running commands on the system. So LVP, and we'll give it a port. Could be anything. Say 8888. So we see it listening. And now what we want is I think something coffee. Let's see, Python reverse shell is what we want. And if you're like in pursuit of a like an OSCP, you're going to have a bunch of different things documented, and I do. I'm just not going to access any of it with here because I don't want to accidentally leak some sensitive stuff. But in here, we can do stuff like this. Now, the only problem we have is we may have to, not Python, not that one. We may have to modify this one a bit because this is if you had command line access, but we don't. We have Python access. So we may need to modify this slightly for the circumstance. And this may be a case where I'm making it more difficult than it needs to be, but that's okay. We do want a one-liner though. So we'll do the import, and what do we say? 888 was the port we're on. So we'll change this. So this is where it's calling back to. And we need our IP. And that should be in this first one somewhere. We use the tunnel IP here. So now we'll modify this guy. All right, now we just need to make sure all our quotes match. So this may or may not work. I think it will work at first glance. It's all one line. Everything matches. May work. May work. But just to explain what we're doing here, so we have a netcat listener. If this performs correctly, we should see a connection over here. And what this is basically telling it to do is open up a socket to this host, which is us, on this port, which we're listening on. And so, unless it's being interpreted wrong, we should have a connection, which we do. So you can see over here that we actually got the connection. Feel free to ask questions if you need me to clarify anything. So we are in the host, maybe, if we can ifconfig. I don't know if we have that. So that tool's maybe IP. Should always forget how to tell it to give us what our IP is. We could just do host name so you can see what host we're on. There we go. So you can see we're on the host. So we did successfully leverage a Python attack to get a foothold. So we have an initial foothold. We can see who we have. So we're www data, which is common. This is typically what our web services are running under. So I am going to fix my screens over here real quick. And let's see. I want to be able to see if people are chatting. Okay, cool. Need to get another monitor up so I can do this better. But okay, yeah. So we have www data, which is commonly what you'll see web services run under. And they're typically also locked down to the specific directory that that all the web server files are under. So like the web service files. So what I mean by that is you typically have a bunch of files that are required to run an application, and you could have multiple applications running on different ports also, right? But there's a root directory there, and then everything under that is accessible by www data. And that is all meant to just run the website as expected, and also limits the access you get if someone were to successfully exploit it like we're doing now. So that's what we're seeing here. And we're in root, but we don't have root, which is why we can't list root. So basically, our job at this point is to find an attack to privilege escalate. So we did enumeration, we did exploitation, we got our initial foothold. Now we do post-exploitation activities in order to privilege escalate. Whew. Mouthful, your attack chain. I just want to talk about the attack chain and where we're at. Because from an attacker's perspective, it's good to know where you're at and where you need to go. From a defender's perspective, it's good to know where your attacker's at and where they need to go and where they came from to get to where they're currently at when you're investigating. So let's see. So we need to move around. Let's read the site again. Again, I don't want to do a bunch of crazy stuff. Oh, we do need to get the user flag, so let's get that really quick. And then we'll go through and figure out what's going on. So let's cd/home maybe. Oh yeah, can't tab complete. Cd think. Oh, cd Ubuntu. ls tech la. Sometimes the flag's hidden. There's a SSH profile. Maybe we're supposed to SSH into the profile, perhaps. Stack la.ssh. Oh, no, we can't get there yet. So we still need a privilege escalate to there. Oh, yeah, we don't have permissions. I don't know why I even tried. So we do have read for some of these other ones. So it's probably going to be /var. Let's just look through here. So we have home, that's where all your user directories are. We have bin, which is where your binary files are. We have temp, there may be something in temp. This thing's super small. Can everyone see this? Might need to increase the size of this, huh? I'm not used to demoing on this, but that looks a little bit better. Let's run the same command again. Okay, I was just seeing if that was a separate file. This PYMP file is interesting. See if there's any other. So that's a directory. So let's ls tech la/tmp/pymp uik4 tebv. Permission denied. Yeah, I need to just read permissions. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, so let's make this a little bit bigger. So var is typically where the web services are stored. I doubt, well, we already know we can't do anything in root. Maybe something in Etsy, maybe something in dev. Let's check var first. We could also list processes in the path and see where they're at, and we can navigate to the web directory perhaps, because it talked about an older web service, older version of a web service. It's just ls_var. ls_var ls/la/var. Let's see, backups we can read, so we may look in that because we were thinking backups before. We have a temp in here as well. I hate that I don't have tab complete yet, but that's okay. And some things we may even consider with this too, right, is escalating the type of shell we have, which is typically what a lot of people do. So we could do something like spin a Metasploit, craft a Metasploit payload drop it onto the system with something like wget to pull the file down, and then we execute it, and then we have a Metasploit payload, we would get a more stable payload that way than what we have now. But it's whatever. Ah, perfect. Yeah, I mean, feel free to speak up if you can't see anything. I'm definitely here to make sure people are getting something out of this instead of me just running my mouth. There you go. Feel like an old man with a blown up, um, with a blown up screen. Let's see. So what are we doing? Oh, ls/la/var/backup. Nothing in there useful. So these are just packages. We don't really care about these. So that's not what we want. So let's try TMP. Nothing in there either. Probably opt. Really? Nothing in there either. So let's just do a px aux. And we can see what's running where instead of playing stupid cat mouse games. So Pyrat, which I think is the name of the program. Yeah, it's the name of the program. It's running on a root, but somehow we didn't manage to get root. So that's interesting. So there's some stuff running cron jobs. So what I was expecting to see is a web, like an actual web service running, but it's not. So I'm glad I looked here. But I'm curious how they were able to run the web services root and me not get root when I exploited the service. That's what's interesting. So here's a, oh, maybe it's because this instance. It's curious. But we can still run. Hmm. Oh. I was checking sudoers because I was like, ah, sudo, but we were in a Python session. So we would need a TTY session is what we need. So we may need to do that. We could try to think what we want to do. We can't write a new SSH key to the Ubuntu file because we're locked out of that. We're locked out of root. Let's see, Python tty shell. Ropnop's a really good person to follow if you've never heard of him. I wonder if we can just copy this. Let's try this. So we want to this because it allows us to interact in a little bit of a better way. We know Python's on there, so we could use this for it. What? Must not be in the path. Or We need to specify Python 3. Permission denied, bash RC. Oh, it's interesting. So I'm stuck in a loop now. We do have a proper shell, but it's asking for password. We don't have a password. I forgot. All right. Yeah, I was just trying to break out of that. Okay. So let's read our directions again. We should be able to get a user flag from somewhere. I don't know where the user flags are typically, because we have user, unless it's telling us we need to get to a different user. But let's see. So blah, 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 potential code execution. Got it. With a cleverly crafted payload. Boom. Delving into directories, you uncover a well-known folder that provides a user with access to credentials. So you would think it would be SSH, but we don't have that. Could be like the old school Etsy shadow or Etsy passwords. We can try that. Sometimes, like old school, you can write hashes in here and then it'll utilize that hash for credentials. I doubt it's shadow because if we had access to shadow, we could basically crack a password and auto elevate, but maybe. Nope. Okay, that's what I thought. Can we write to this? No, it said we had access to credentials, well-known credentials. LA slash. What other directory has credentials? Hmm. I'm thinking here. Maybe dev? Oh no, I think we already looked in dev, didn't we? Nope. But this should just be interfaces. Yeah. So it wouldn't be bin. It's not dev. Doubt it's these lib folders. Doubt it's media folder. We can't see anything in root. You have access to OPT. This is just binaries. This won't be useful. We didn't see anything here. Let's try OPT then. There we go. ls slash opt slash dev. ls stack la slash opt slash dev. Ah, there we go. This is getting more interesting. I still don't have tab complete. Drives me nuts. opt slash dev slash dot get. Okay, so this is a case where we have access to Git history. So Git history is super powerful if you haven't scrubbed passwords. So if like I was explaining this before anyone came on the stream, but I'll explain again since you're here. If like say you accidentally put credentials into a Git repository and they're like, oh, okay, let me just overwrite them. And then you do a new commit and you look in there and I'm like, okay, they're gone. Well, they're still in the Git history. So if someone has access to that, which is typically the case with especially public repositories, they can just pull that and then search the history and find the fact that you have secrets. And so that's a big problem. And you actually see that quite a bit with bug bounty programs where people have found secrets in the repo anywhere or in the commit history. So we have Git here. So I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head. Let's see. Git commands to view commit history. I don't use Git in the command line very often. So we try git log. So it doesn't know the current branch. So we may need to specify. So we could give it a branch name, perhaps. If we look in branches, so we go ls branches, cd branches, ls type la. There's no branches in it. Interesting. Um, Let's see. Let's try a different search. I know someone's already has this documented. Finding secrets in Git commits. Yeah, these are pretty well known. Git leaks, truffle hog. We try doing something like this. Git grep password. But what I wanted to do was list all the commits. And then I was going to look through them. Let's see if this works. I don't know if it'll work. So dubious ownership. I don't know what the heck that means. Let's actually do the old. See what people say. When in doubt of an error, just Google it. So it's saying we don't have permissions, perhaps. So I wonder if they want us to escalate to the other user. Where are we at? cd ls type la. So think is the user with all of these, but we do have read access to some also. So I think they're typically in. We have read execute to a lot of them. We have read to all of them. Hmm. Let's see if there is a good link. Sometimes there's some good commands. TLDR. I'm just looking for commands, bud. We could always pull the file down because we have read. Probably do that if we pushed a Metasploit payload onto it and got a reverse shell. We could do it that way. Question is there a better way to do that? To transfer files? Probably not. SSH, if we had an SSH key, we could do that, but we don't have an SSH key. Because it's supposed to be easy, I imagine there is a simple command for, man, I'm scrunching down too much. I imagine there's a simple command to do this on the host. Oh, my phone's going off. Let me turn this thing on silent. Or we can also say ChatGPT and have it give us some commands. I've gotten used to using this more and more in my kind of like day-to-day stuff. It does help. There's still some hallucination, but not much. What is the git command to look at commits history? And we were getting that error, so we still need to see. You still need to get around that error. How do we do this with this error? Oh, this is interesting. Let's try this. Sounds reasonable, right? Not in a Git directory. What's considered a Git directory? We are in a Git directory, though. It says inside of the repository folder. Pretty sure we are. Maybe we can try this instead, giving it specifically. Because that's curious. Permission denied. Unable. So we could always grep for secrets. Grep for the word password recursively from a directory. Let's try this approach instead. I really want to figure out how to do it with Git though, because it's bothering the heck out of me. But we did find the password. So that's a way to do it. I mean, that's not the proper way to do it. Maybe there was a way to do it, or just because of the way they configured it, they were trying to force you to use grep because it's an easy box. Maybe they didn't expect people to do that. I don't know. Because SSH is running under one account, I guess that we may be able to utilize that password. Let's SSH think at there it is. And then we check the password. Now we're in. So we escalated. So this is that flag I was trying to find earlier. So we did need to escalate once to get to it. All right. Yeah, I know it's crazy. So I was putting it in there, and I don't know why. It could just be permissions thing. Like I said, maybe they didn't expect a user at the easy level to know how to maneuver through Git history. Um, what we could have done is, even though we didn't have permissions there, what we could have done is dropped a Metasploit payload on the system, and then utilize that to pull the files to our host, our Kali host, and then we would have had free reign to do all the Git stuff. So we could have done it that way, and maybe I'll demonstrate it before we finish with this, the method I was talking about, and then we can go over building payloads as well. Um, so yeah, yeah. I mean, there could be. If you can figure out how to do it, let me know, and we'll give it a whirl. But now that we have this, we can work on the next section. So we did this. Delving into the directories, author uncovers a well-known folder, provides user with access to credentials. Boom. Okay, we got it. So it's a Git repo. Now, a subsequent exploration yields valuable insights into the application's older version. So now we may be able to find maybe now we can access older versions of the Git, or we can do what we were trying to do before now that we actually have access to it, because we should. We're running under the account that was actually had ownership, so we can do what we were doing before, or should be able to theoretically. So if we go ahead over to that folder, oh, I have tab complete now. Golden. So now we should be able to say git log. Okay, so boom, yes. Now we can start exploring the Git repository. So we are looking for insights into the application's older version. Let's read this closer. I feel like there is something goofy here, and I need to zoom in for you because I can't even see it over there. That should be a little bit better. So the author uncovers a well-known folder providing you, okay, we did that. So a subsequent exploration yields valuable insights into the application's older version. Okay, so we're trying to find information about the older version. Exploring possible endpoints using a custom script, the user can discover special endpoint and ingeniously expand their exploration by fuzzing passwords. So it's interesting. So we did see other variations of the script running as root. So we may want to look where there may be versions of the script running on loopback. Maybe that's what it's telling us, that we have to attack the loopback versions, but we can look real quick to see if that's the case by simply running a command and looking at services that are web service actually running. So we can ask for that because I don't feel like Googling. Now that we have ChatGPT, let's be lazy, right? Linux command to see processes and ports they are running on. Should be something like, I was trying to make us log in. Are you kidding me? I don't want to log in. All right, we can Google it. Linux command to see processes and ports. It's late in the day. Don't expect my brain to work. Yeah, that's it. There we go. That's what we're looking for. TULMP. End of the day, I've worked a full day. I've been up since 6. Don't expect a ton out of me. All right, so perfect. That's what we're looking for here. And what we want to see it's not listing the program. That sucks. Interesting. I would expect over here in the column where it says programs to show the Python commands, but it's not. But we do see this is the one that we targeted earlier. This is SSH running. This is probably a web service. This is DNS, probably web, SSH again, DNS again. I don't know what 68 UDP is, but it's not obviously not a web service because it's UDP. Web has to be TCP. So that's interesting. Let's put that on hold and let's continue digging through the git commits. What was the command what did we get before? So we got this commit. I can't spell, of course. Stack Overflow. So how do we... There's supposed to be a way where you just systematically go through each one of these. Git log master, maybe that's it. I've never used that one. That doesn't seem familiar. Git show branch, maybe? I feel stupid, FYI, every time I have to use git. Because I always forget the syntax. So there's that, but this isn't what we're looking for. Let's see. Let's try this. There's maybe a pen test thing somewhere. Pen tests, explore, git commits. You're very rarely the first person to do something in the world. Someone's probably documented it somewhere. My tab crashed. I don't like that. Here's another walkthrough. Let's not cheat. Yeah, so this is what we see. Oh, so it's a git cat file. We could try that. And then we can try giving it this. Then maybe this. Like, I just want it to just print all the things. Please don't make me keep having to do this. There's got to be a faster way. What's the fast way? I mean, we know how to do it now, but golly, is this not efficient? This drives me nuts. All right, whatever. Oh, did I not grab the right one? Oops. Somehow I'm being completely stupid and pasting the same thing over and over. Should have probably poured me some coffee. All right. We have something. If UID equals 0, change UID. If data equals shell, client socket. Else execute Python client socket data. Huh. So we may be able to just execute by saying shell, which seems bizarre to me. Okay, so we could have just gotten shell that way. Okay, so that's something. If this data equals some endpoint, get this endpoint client sockets. I don't see get this endpoint as a command anywhere. Let's see what it does. Are you game? I'm game. Hmm. Get this endpoint client socket. Switch case. So how do we get it to see check socket is admin and downgrade if it's not approved. So UID equals os.getUID. All right, so we know this part. This is what we've been doing. This is why I was executing Python. What's interesting is that we don't, I feel like it's missing code. Like we don't know what the get this endpoint thing is. Um, it's missing function calls, essentially. And there's obviously misspellings in here. So it's downgrading if it's 0. So it's running as root, and then it downgrades to shell because it's root. But we also don't see this function either. And then we did this by executing shell, we dropped into a shell. Otherwise, it just attempts to run whatever you have, which we saw as well. Now, definition of shell. So this is this. os.dupe2 client target file 01012. So this did give us a PTY shell, but it wasn't a PTY shell. Interesting. So I feel like we're missing something. So it added endpoints. It said we're looking for hidden endpoints. Exploring possible endpoints using a custom script, the user can discover a special endpoint and ingeniously expand their exploration by fuzzing passwords. So I'm not really sure what it's talking about. Exploring possible endpoints. We saw the endpoints. We didn't need a custom script. We just look in the Git repo. Is it asking us to brute force the functionality because it's a partial? Interesting. Quiet because I'm thinking here. Hmm. A subsequent exploration. Are we looking at the older version is the question. Was that the older version? Don't know. Let's see. So we did log, I think, and we only saw the one commit, and I'm pretty sure that's what we walked down. So ls, we saw this, git log. Then this was the only commit. And then we kept walking the commit. Here with git cat file this, and then we looked at this one, which gave us this Pyrat old. So that is the old one. Okay, so this is what we're saying is the old one. Man, my brain does not want to work when it's half dead. So this is the old one. So exploring the possible endpoints. A subsequent exploration yields valuable insights into the application's older version. Exploring possible endpoints using a custom script, the user can discover a special endpoint and ingeniously expand the exploration by fuzzing passwords. So are they saying there's a endpoint that fuzzes passwords? Like what password am I fuzzing here? Which is interesting. So let's look at these endpoints again. So what they're calling as endpoints are these. If data equals some endpoint, so I'm just curious like what it means. It's kind of interesting. Root, password, crack, spray, pass. Pass is acceptable. Maybe it's a Python command. If data equals some endpoint. So basically we need to figure out possible endpoints. And we only see that there are shell as an endpoint. Maybe admin. Start a fresh client to begin. So that's interesting. I need this thing to make noise whenever people post. I wonder if I can have it pop up with stuff. Let's try layout. So I'm just like learning how to do all this stuff. It's just pretty interesting. That's my logo. Text. Okay, whatever. Um, this is interesting. Admin, start a fresh client to begin. What does that mean? Maybe admin shell? Start. Maybe admin like this and then shell? Nope, didn't help. Oh, sorry. You can't see this crap either. Kind of threw up on us a little bit here. So this is interesting. It's asking for a password now. I think that's what it said. Exploring possible endpoints using a custom script. Okay, we didn't do that part, but we... So we need to fuzz passwords. Interesting. This is like a super gamey one. There's no way this is easy if they're going to make you like build a script for this. That's insane. So if you did this, well, we only have four guesses. How many is that? One, two, three. We have three guesses before it kicks us out. Hmm. Maybe try this as a password. Don't like that one either. Let's see. Maybe this one. I think it did this to us last time. Hmm. What do we think? Has anyone got any suggestions? So I almost feel like so there's this tool and I forget what it's called. It's like a it's not a password scraper. Cool, I think is what it's called. And it basically scrapes for stuff and it'll make a password list out of the different words. And I wonder if that's what it's trying to get us to do. Like the misspellings here are just interesting. Like maybe this is it. Nope. God, I thought that was gonna be it. I was like, God, that makes sense. And it's usually like some weird word in here. I think we tried some endpoint already. See if we try that password, some endpoint, endpoint approved. Get this endpoint. Wonder why it duplicates all these like this. This is kind of interesting. We try shell. I think we tried shell. So it's got to be, let's see, exploring the possible endpoints using a custom script. The user can discover a special endpoint and ingeniously expand their. So I guess let's use cool to scrape and then use that. Oh, I spelled it wrong. All right. Let's do this. So we need this. And we're going to take it. Let's make a directory for this. All right, now we're going to use cool to build a list based off of this. And let's just do default configuration. Can we target that? Yeah, we don't want depth. Nope. Nope. Could probably write a script instead to break up every word because it's probably going to be simple. So maybe we don't equal, is what I'm saying. Because we found the admin endpoint. We haven't tried downgrade. So the reason why I switched gears again is because you have to have a website to do it. We don't have a website. We have an endpoint that we have to access. Um, so it may not work to do what we need to, but realistically, if it's only grabbing words that are at least 5 characters long, we could do that using another tool. Or we could, I mean, it's really not that big. We can guess endpoints ourselves. So there's certain things that are listed. So these may just be not endpoints the way it's acting. So we know this when it gives a special output, it's a legitimate endpoint. And then when it's not, it's more than likely just it's interpreting it as a Python command. Ooh, maybe change UID. So what's interesting is it opened up a socket for all these individual words, which is curious. No, it's not a new socket because it's the same port. So I don't really know why it's printing out like that. This is where is legitimately CTF gamey. A subsequent exploration yields an application's older version. Got it. Exploring possible endpoints using a custom script. So I think we might have been doing it correctly where we get access to admin, then we have to fuzz passwords. Maybe. So the thing I always hate about the passwords with these is that you don't know what type of list you need, and it's usually something obvious. Either it's like a very common password, or it's something doing like a list like this. So we could just go through and just do every like major thing. And just keep track of what we're doing. Let's see. Could probably script doing this, but it's okay. We'll do every unique word. So data is not unique. I think we already tried it. Oh, oops. Oh, shit. So we got 3 at a time. So we can do it like this. Switch case. This. Even this could be one. Oops. You might be able to use Gemini to or ChatGPT to help. Am I logged in? I don't think I'm logged into anything. Or so might be able to parse this. So delimiters. So we just want strings, right? Sequences of words separated by either a line or a space, and then we'll use those to crack passwords. That's funny. Surely you can do this in Bash. I don't want to run Python code. Um, all right. Oh, I like that. Echo. So we could cat the file and then do that perhaps. Let's see. That doesn't look right though to me. That's actually pretty close. So now if we are unique it or sorts unique it, now we have this, and now Now we want to keep only those. So we want to keep only those of specific length. We could try this now. This might not do it. We'll see. That didn't work because if you can see, it messed some stuff up. Like it got rid of a bunch of stuff that we didn't want it to get rid of. Hmm. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, well, whatever. You can put it into a file and also do it manually. Sometimes it's easier just to do it the coarse way instead of the cool way, if you will. So we'll go into. No, that's not what we wanted. So we want to retain the original. So we want this set. Now we can come in here and we can just get rid of stuff like this crap. We know for a fact, are pretty damn close, that it's likely not these short ones. Likely. Or if we can detach this. Oh no, we can just open up in another thing actually. Might be able to hear my dog acting a fool. All right, so here we go. All right, now we can just systematically go through these. We could write a script to do this, but I feel like it might be a bit of a pain to do that. Oops. And then we just keep logging back in. And I'm not going to do these data ones yet. I feel it's more likely to be some of these other ones. I would definitely encourage you if you like practicing script writing, go for it. I don't feel like fumbling with scripts tonight. I'm too tired for that crap at the moment. So let's rearrange these a little bit. But the ones we don't try at the bottom. And we'll come back to them. Because it may be variations like they're expecting a they're expecting other delimiters like I don't know, a parentheses or a dot. Other thing we also have to consider, actually maybe not. I was going to say we might not be able to use these because they're Python commands, but we're not in a Python shell at the moment. This is really annoying. I think we tried some endpoint also already. This is really driving me nuts. Oh, let's see, what am I missing here? Exploring possible endpoints. Okay, we discovered a special endpoint admin and ingeniously expand their exploration by fuzzing passwords. I really think we're trying way too friggin' hard here. All right, let's see if we had anyone else pop in here while we're goofing off. Let's see. How do I see who's in the stream with me? I don't even know. I should probably like watch a tutorial on how to use Twitch. You know, sometimes I YOLO. Hmm. UID. Try. We tried to get this endpoint. We did some endpoint. See ya. Dun dun. Hmm. I'm curious if anyone has written a script for this. And I'm looking to see kind of how they did it. Because I'd be curious. Oh. So they sent admin, which, yep, obvious. Password in response, then they send password. What are they going to use? Rock you? Stripping new lines. Yep, yep, yep. That makes sense. Oh, no, they just give it any passwordless. Huh. Yeah, interesting. So they basically wrote a script to do exactly what we were doing, except it wasn't like I was expecting a password in the thing. It was like something from Rocky, because I see they're trying all these from Rocky. So we can actually just, I hate this kind of crap where it's just so CTF-y, but whatever. So we're just going to run their script because I don't want to spend all day writing this. So we can move on to something else. And we just need to change this to 5.206. And I need to see where my password list is. So I think it's ls var user. Is it var? Is it user var? User share. Wordless. And rock U is zipped. So sheesh. We'll let that unzip, and then we also need to give it a password location. File.read lines with open password word list. ls/ user share. We should see it unzipped. Yep. And then we'll just give it the path. And hopefully wherever it's at. Unless this is like, oh, it's already up there. So it's a variable. Okay, cool. So we save it somewhere. We'll save it in this Pyrat directory. Pyrat.py. And then should work. Ten 5.206. It should be given as output though, and it's not. Oh, because it's topped out. Nice. Hey, thanks for the follow. So you look up here, my computer's like, well, my computer isn't, but this VM is pretty much maxed out. Yeah, it's because I reset it before I hopped on here, and typically I like allocate significant RAM to it because this all it says is a RAM issue. But it is what it is. Let's see if they'll let me kill it. I don't want to sit here for 30 minutes waiting on this thing to chill out. Man, what a shame. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to fix this issue. You can just stare at my face for a second while I fix it, and we'll just shut down guest. I'll reconfigure the stuff, restart it, log back in, all that fun stuff. It'll be okay. Might not even restart right now because it's logged down. VMs. Failed to power off. See if it'll let me exit something. Oh man. I could just hard power it off. Yep, that worked. It said no graceful log off for you, sir. I'll be back in a second. Let me just reconfigure the settings. Yeah, it's only got 2 gigabytes of memory. Ooh. Good a bunch. All right, I just gave it 16 gigabytes of memory. That should be more than sufficient to do what we were trying to do. All right. Still booting. What's booting? I'm going to play with Twitch some more. So there's supposed to be like a way to show all the people that are currently viewing. There's supposed to be like some interesting tools in here, but I don't see them. But I'm also stupid with some technology, so it is what it is. Stream health, activity feed, we got all that. Mods. Viewers are up here, but it doesn't tell us who's viewing. I guess just who's chatting. Okay. All right. Yep, we're back in business. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's knock this thing out before I hop off tonight. First things we're going to need to do is we're going to need to log in, cd downloads, open VPN. Should log us in. Get another one up here. Let me share my screen. Boom, we're rocking and rolling. Screen. Nope. Cali. Here. cd Pyrat ls should be the same thing, so we should be able to just go Python Pyrat like this. The problem that may have occurred previously is that the word list was freaking massive, and it is. It's going out though. And it had to load it into memory. And so basically it just took up all the memory trying to load because I just read it all. I wasn't reading it line by line. I read it all. I'm pretty sure that's what happened anyways. I mean, you can see the big jump there. Now it's normal now that it's not running. But is what it is. So we have the password here, ABC123. Should be able to see our history. We don't, so let's see. It should be NC. I need to log back in anyways. Dang it. We're here. Copy this. Support 8000. Admin ABC123. Now we go into shell. And we say, who am I? If I can spell it right, who am I? Root. Now we should just go to cd/root. Then we go cat root.txt and game set match. So that's that one. So I'm a little surprised with this one being marked at easy and they're expecting you to write a script to do this. Because the difficulty in my mind writing the script is that you have to set it. I mean, there may be a way to do it with Hydra, but you have to be able to set it to reconnect every 3 passwords, which is the problem. It'd been different if you can target the login screen directly and you have unlimited passwords. It's different, but you have a couple of weird things you have to handle. Let's see. Pyrat walkthrough. I'm curious if anyone did it. Well, one, let's look and see how they did the Git repo thing. See if they did it just like we did. So this is something I also would advise anyone that's learning. I usually do this, like I'll solve it. Maybe I'll get help solving something, especially when I start out early, like in the beginning of my career. And I would solve as much as I could, then I would get only hints that I needed to move forward. But after I finished, I always went back and looked to see how other people solved stuff. Simply because everyone solves things differently, and there's a lot to learn, right? Everyone just kind of leverages the skills that are they're most familiar with. Oh, people are using Rust scan. That's a new one. I haven't seen that before. So that's interesting. So they did it slightly different. They were doing it all through um, Explore, or not Explore, through the browser and through curl. So that's interesting. So we did it slightly different. Now they did it with NC. Yep, they did a reverse shell just like we did. Let's see. I want the Git repo business. Oh, they use linpiece. So linpiece, if you don't know, that's a enumeration tool. So it's pretty cool. Oh, they went straight to, oh, my leg's sticking to the chair, to the config file. So that's interesting. That's a way to do it too. Ours was probably more efficient if you didn't understand the layout, and I don't understand the folder structure for Git. I don't do it enough. Let's see. How they did their password guessing. So this looks like the same file I had before. So let's skip. Oh, cool. Tyler Ramsby. He did a walkthrough as well. Let's see what he did. think he just started his own pen test company as well. Congrats. Congrats, dude. I don't want to watch a video, bro. Okay, I'll watch the video, but I'll skip. I don't know how loud it's going to be. Sorry. Oh, I'm not feeding audio through my VM, so it's not going to be any loud. Oh man, you got a nice little setup there. He's got the comments up on the screen. Man, you're ahead. Let's see how he did it. So he did pretty much the same exact thing. So one of the things you have to be careful when you're coding is these non-visible characters. They tend to screw all kind of stuff up. And so when you see him doing the dot strip, he's stripping off the line breaks because if you included those in like say like you were reading a file line by line, but you include the line breaks in the passwords, right? Because we had a password list, you would it wouldn't it would read it with those line breaks in it and wouldn't work the way you intended. I ran into that early on when I was in my career doing like CTFs and playing with Python. Very frustrating. Definitely encourage people to get familiar with a debugger early on in life, because the sooner you do, the better it's going to be. It looks like he's just walking through his debugging. Oh no, he's not debugging. He's still writing his code. Um, so he did pretty much. Tally did the same thing I did, or well, I cheated. I took someone else's because I didn't want to write the code. Um, so yeah, definitely check out his stuff if you like hacking as well. Very cool. But I think that's it. I think we'll end here. We had some good stuff. Got to play around. Got one thing done. We got 60 points. I don't know what that does for me. We got one streak. I guess we can terminate too. I would 100% not agree that this is beginner level if they're expecting people to write Python scripts for this. I would say that's at least medium. It's easy if you have someone else's script, like if they supplied the script to you. Let's see. I wish it would allow me to rate it. But yeah, it's not a bad box. It's pretty interesting. See what my badges look like. 7-day streak. Nope. I don't know what this is. Silver League, 3 million legend. Oh, I don't have any of these. I have a 500 day. Somehow I got a 500 day in a row one, but not very many points. So that's interesting. Um, yeah. So we'll do something next time. We'll see who's in here. We'll play. Um, yeah, we'll have fun. We'll learn some stuff. If Michelle pops in, I obviously we see an AI one, so we can play with prompt engineering, and social engineering, AI models. That'll be fun. But yeah, so we'll stop here. We'll see everyone next time. Take care.